We have some breaking news here on NFL Roster Cuts Down Day. I am Harrison Graham. Mario Edwards has been released by the Chicago Bears, and we're going to break it all down here on Bears Now. The first surprise cut, I would say, so far for Ryan Poles and Matt Eberflus. I believe this is a legitimate surprise. Now, I'm seeing some people on Twitter saying, I expected this, I saw this coming. And yes, Mario Edwards was quiet in training camp and in the preseason, but he's also one of your more experienced defensive linemen on this roster. I am somewhat surprised, I don't know what the, perfect word is, that Mario Edwards has been cut. I thought he would make the 53, but he did not. And now the Bears will save a couple $1,000,000, so that is a positive. But I think that does make things interesting on that front four on the defensive side, as Edwards has versatility to play both edge and on the inside. He has been cut by Chicago. What is your one-word reaction to Mario Edwards getting cut? Let me know down in the comment section. My one word is surprised. I am. I'll admit it. I am surprised he got released. Let me know what you guys think. How surprised are you, or what is your one-word reaction to Edwards getting cut? You look at his 2 years with the Bears, fairly productive here. 25 tackles, 6 sacks, 2 last year, 4 the year before, 7 tackles for loss, couple of pass breakups in 27 games played. Missed some time with, I think he had a couple game suspension 1 year, and then also has missed some time with injuries. I didn't see it coming, I'll be honest. Maybe he was closer to the roster bubble that I thought. I certainly didn't think he had a great preseason and didn't flash, but I thought his versatility on a defensive line that's, got some question marks on it and not a crazy amount of depth would be valuable for this team. But Ryan Poles opting to go younger, I think, here. I think with Edwards out of the mix, that bodes well for a guy like Micah Treadway, Trayvon Coley. Does that help a guy like Sam Kamara make the 53? I think it's certainly possible. So we'll have to wait and see which of these other guys get cut. I don't really think Mike Pennell's going to make this team, but for now he survives. Charles Snowden, same deal. So Mike Pennell, the first surprise cut, several more to go at this point for the Bears. This is why you subscribe. When the Bears make moves, we got you covered with a video. Of course, we'll have the full 53-man roster later today. Still plan on going live, so turn on those notifications after you subscribe. We'll have you covered here on YouTube. We'll also have you covered on Rumble. So give us a follow over there, rumble.com/BearsNow, publishing all of our shows on Rumble. That link is in the comments and in the description. Rumble.com/BearsNow. Subscribe on YouTube, follow on Rumble for daily free videos. All right, here are the roster cuts up to this point. Still a bunch to go. Got about, 22 left. If you are the Bears, John Alexander, Corey Dublin, Kevin Shaw, John Alexander, John DeLance have been cut, as has now Mario Edwards. Again, the first real surprise. DeLance, Dublin, Shaw, and Alexander weren't guys that were that surprising, but we could be in for an interesting day. We really, really could be. I think there's going to be some movement, not just with the current decisions, but potential acquisitions, especially tomorrow once the waiver wire hits. So going to be an interesting 24 hours for the Chicago Bears and across the NFL. Few more Bears rumors to hit, and then we'll sign off. How about claiming a wide receiver? Couple of interesting names are going to go through waiver wires here. Tom Pelissero had this note about Preston Williams. Dolphins cut him. Per source, multiple teams reached out over the last few weeks about a possible trade, but now he is on waivers. And there were reports that when the Bears traded for N'Keal Harry, the other receiver they were interested in at the time was Preston Williams. So Ryan Poles may have some interest in the big player from Miami, who is now going to hit waivers. We'll see if the Bears put a claim in for him. Greg Auman also reported this, and this was one of the big surprise cuts around the league today. Tyler Johnson, he gets waived by Tampa Bay. Now, that's a crowded wide receiver room, but he had a strong preseason. I thought he was going to make that roster for sure. I have interest in both these players, quite frankly, especially Tyler Johnson. Younger player, fifth-round pick a couple of years ago. Liked him coming out of Minnesota. And when he's played well. He's just been buried on a depth chart with Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Antonio Brown in the past, not anymore, obviously. I thought he would make that team for sure. Obviously, they brought in Russell Gage. He's going to make that Tampa roster. But I like Tyler Johnson. I like Preston Williams a little bit, although he's fallen off in the past couple of seasons. A couple of players I would be interested in. How about trading for Jalen Reagor? We've talked about this before. The Reagor trade rumors have re-sparked up this morning as his future in Philadelphia is in doubt. I don't think they will cut him like those other two receivers, Williams and Johnson, got cut. Jeff Mosher of a reporter for the Eagles tweeted this out. Buzz around the league as Jalen Reagor's trade market is heating up. Some teams believe a deal will get done for the Eagles by 4 o'clock today, which 4 Eastern is the deadline to trim rosters down to 53. So you think about these 3 receivers that could be available, 2 on the waiver wire and then Reagor on the trade market. How do these guys fit in, right? Are they better than a guy like Tajay Sharp, Dante Pettis, who are on the roster bubble? I think these first 4 guys here, Mooney, St. Brown, Pringle, and Velus Jones, are going to make this football team, but I do think we should keep an eye on the wide receiver market over the next day or 2. I don't think the Bears are necessarily done there. I think even depending on how many they carry through today, one of those guys could get cut if they claim one of these other receivers. We saw last year the Bears claimed Brashad Perriman, had him for a few weeks before they cut him loose. So there's always movement after initial roster cuts. So I'll be very curious to see what ends up happening at this position for Chicago. Pick a wide receiver. Type JR for Jalen Reagor. Type TJ for Tyler Johnson. Type PW for Preston Williams. If you could have one guy, and don't factor in trading for Reagor. If you could just pick one guy, who would you like to have the most? Probably go Reagor or Johnson. Williams would be third, but obviously you do potentially have to trade for Reagor, so maybe you would just try to put a claim in for a guy like Tyler Johnson. Let me know, JR, TJ, or PW. And then last one here, will the Bears acquire a corner? I think this is a very strong possibility because we've talked about this in recent days and weeks. The cornerback position after your top 3 guys here of Jalen Johnson, CB1. Kyler Gordon's really your CB2, but in nickel sets, he's going to play nickel. Kendall Vilder's your other outside corner, who's had a good camp in preseason. I want to give him credit. But who's after that? Thomas Graham, he's injured. Tavon Young, he's injured. Are you going to keep Duke Shelley? Is Greg Stroman going to make this team? Lamar Jackson? I think there's going to be some cornerback movement in Chicago. I think whatever it looks like today is probably not what it'll look like week 1. I think there's going to be some roster movement there, depending on who gets cut, depending on what free agents are still out there, what the Bears are interested in. I've said for a week or 2 now, you need another outside corner. Unless you are just ready to roll with Lamar Jackson as your top reserve as an outside corner, I don't know. I think you need to go get someone at that position. So we'll keep an eye on that as well. Wide receiver, corner, maybe offensive line too. A lot of things that could change between now and, the next couple of days for the Chicago Bears. All right, thanks for tuning into today's show. It's roll call time. You guys know the motto. The real ones know. Type FGB in the comment section. F Green Bay. That's the motto here at Bears Now. We'll see you this afternoon with the 53-man roster.